watching News Desk here on your Joy News channel on Multi TV, also available on your DSTV channel 421. This is your election headquarters. This is an extended version of News Desk because we do know that we have to cross over to Parliament and bring you happenings there today. It has to do with the passage of that bill, the amendment bill that would see Ghanaians head to the polls in November instead of December. We do know that prior to today's sitting, on Tuesday we were supposed to have this bill worked on by Parliament. It did not happen. On Wednesday it was supposed to happen. It also did not happen on Wednesday. But for yesterday, the reasons were given was that there were unforeseen circumstances that led to that postponement to today. It has to do with the majority leader, whom we were told was in a cabinet meeting at the time. But the situation we were told is different today. So we are hoping that members of Parliament will look at the bill today and make the necessary recommendations and either pass the amendment bill or not. Parliamentary correspondent Elton Bobe is in the house now and is joining me live now with the very latest on what is currently going on in Parliament. But in the meantime, let's take a break. We'll be back shortly with those details. Stay with us.
Forwarded to Parliament for parliamentary consideration. The report of the Legal, Constitutional and Parliamentary Affairs Committee was up yesterday, but unfortunately the Attorney General could not move it because we were told they were summoned to appear before Cabinet for some other discussion. So that was stepped down to today. Today, the House is expected to consider the report of the Legal, Constitutional and Parliamentary Affairs Committee. The report will justify the reason why there should be an amendment to the Constitution so that the elections can take place in November instead of December. Very soon, the Speaker of Parliament will walk in. As you can see from the background, members of Parliament are ready. The leadership, they are also ready. The Attorney General and Minister of Justice, who is not a member of Parliament, has a duty to perform this morning. Her duty is to move the motion for a second reading of the bill. The second reading of the bill means that the committee is done with the consideration of the bill at the committee level. They are ready with their report. Their report will spell out what Parliament is expected to do in relation to the bill. And according to the report that we have, they've listened to the Electoral Commission. They've asked them about their readiness to hold the elections in November. They've listened to the various political parties who came through during the forum to consider the amendment to the Constitution. They've listened to the Finance Ministry, and the assurance is that they are ready to provide the additional funding so that the Electoral Commission can hold the elections in November. You know, the Electoral Commission is requesting an amount of 1.2 billion Ghana cedis. We are told 693 million Ghana cedis has already been allocated to the Electoral Commission, left with a little over 400 million Ghana cedis. The expectation is that the Finance Ministry will make do with their promise to release the additional 400 million Ghana cedis. So the Electoral Commission will be in a better position to organize the proposed November 7th election. I say proposed because until the amendment or until the Constitution is amended and a new CI brought before Parliament, there cannot be an effect to the proposed Constitution. Now, what is going to happen today is that the chairman of the committee, Magnus Amoatey, after the Attorney General had prayed the House to move the bill through second reading, will present the committee's report. The ranking member on the committee, Joe Osei-Wusu, will also second it, and in seconding it, he will report to Parliament their concerns with the bill, after which the Speaker will allow for the consideration of the report of the committee. Members of Parliament will be given the opportunity from both sides to speak to the report of the committee. If the report of the committee is adopted after the report of the chairman and seconded by the ranking member of the committee, then the House will accept it. The next stage will then be for the House to now consider the merits of the proposed amendment. And in this case, we are talking about just one clause that is seeking an amendment, Article 112 of the 1992 Constitution, and they are amending it to reflect the change in date that the Electoral Commission is seeking Parliament to do. Now, there are two issues here. One has to do with the parliamentary elections and the organization of the presidential election. Both, elections are regulated by two different, sets of rules in the 1992 Constitution. Whereas in the parliamentary elections, it says that the elections will be held before the expiration of the tenure of members of Parliament. In the case of the presidential elections, the rule is that it should be held within 4 months before the election year comes to an end. So that means it can be held between October to December. What this bill is seeking to do is to amend the Constitution so that the presidential and parliamentary elections can all be held on the 7th of November. And in going forward, the proposal is that when this is accepted, future elections can only take place on the first Monday of November in every election year. So if the report is accepted by Parliament and then the proposed amendment received 2/3 of 4 members of Parliament present, then we will move to the next stage where the Electoral Commission will now present a new constitutional instrument that will seek to give legal backing to the November 7th proposed date for the elections. Now, what we are being told that the amendment may suffer some setback. Indeed, the information I've picked from the minority side of Parliament is that they may not support the amendment. And this information, I'm told, is also backed by the party, that's the MPP. There was a steering committee meeting yesterday morning. The minority held a caucus meeting, and I'm told that is the position they will be coming with. Nevertheless, Standing Order 110 of Parliament stipulates that in a matter where Parliament is considering an amendment to the Constitution, that vote should be done in secret. So irrespective of whichever side you look, we are looking at getting 183 members of Parliament voting to accept the proposed amendment. Any number below that will render the exercise useless. The NDC majority, they have just 148 members in Parliament. The MPP, they've got 122. We have 4 independent members of Parliament, and then one CPP member of Parliament and 1 PNC member of Parliament. If you look at the majority NDC members of 148, it will still not be enough. That is, if all of them should come to Parliament on the day to vote for the proposed amendment, they will require at least some members from the minority side, the independent members of Parliament, the CPP and the PNC member, to also vote in favor. They need a 183 membership. That is the bottom line, without which the proposed amendment cannot take place. Lobbying is ongoing. There have been several meetings. The leadership have been meeting on the sides. The speaker, has made it clear. Decision of Parliament on this proposed amendment will have consequences on the election. That is if we are to hold it in December or November. So the stakes are so high. But what I'm picking is that on the minority side, it will be difficult to now put your hand on your chest and say that they will vote for. The information I've picked is that the main issue is that they shouldn't, and that is the issue. If you look at the standing order, the order of business for today, and you look at motion number 5, it's very simple: that the Constitution Amendment Bill 2016 now be read a second time, and this will be done by the Attorney General and Minister of Justice. Very soon, the Speaker of Parliament will walk into the chamber for business to start. That is the main agenda for today. And like I said earlier on, once the amendment is taken, once the report is taken, the members are given the opportunity to respond to it, and then a vote is taken whether or not to accept or reject the report. If the report is accepted, then the next stage will be for the relevant provisions in the Constitution seeking to be amended will now be put before members of Parliament for that consideration to take place. We are going to be here to bring you live update of what will transpire in the House today, because this is very important if the country will hold the elections in November or December. That decision rests on the shoulders of 183 out of 275 members of Parliament. If Parliament is unable to garner the 183 votes in favor of the proposed amendment, then the status quo will have to be maintained. That is, elections will take place in December. On the other hand, if during voting they are able to get the 183 membership needed to get this amendment effected, then we are looking at November, 3 months and some few days away from today. The concern for members on the minority or those who are opposed to the amendment is that we don't have enough time. Even as we speak, Parliament is sitting through to allow the CI 94 that will regulate the elections to mature. If the amendment is true, the Electoral Commission will now present to Parliament a new constitutional instrument. That instrument will give meaning to the holding of elections in November. They are saying that there isn't so much time between now and November for the Electoral Commission to go through all these preparations. They are even of the view that by now the Electoral Commission should have given the political party certified copy of people who are in good standing as far as the voters register is concerned. That has not been done. The Electoral Commission is now even in the process of re-registering people who were elected by virtue of the fact that they use an NHIS card to register. And then we will come to the fine-tuning the register. They are of the view that these are serious matters that demands time and attention. They cannot be forced to vote for an amendment that will only put pressure on the Electoral Commission to come up with a credible election. So the call is that they should hold on to December. On the majority side, they are of the view that judging by the commitment of the Electoral Commission and their own pronouncement, they are ready for the elections in November. The decision now will have to come from Parliament. 183 members, that is what is required to see this amendment through, and then we'll move to the next phase of actualizing the date for the election. That is a new CI to regulate it. Until that is done, it will be difficult to say that we are out of the rules. Members of Parliament are already in the chamber. The Speaker, if the Speaker is almost at 11:22, the Speaker is not in. He tells you that some kind of consultation is still ongoing at the Speaker's lobby. Once they are in, business will start and we will know how we are moving. But today is not the time for voting. Today is time for the consideration of the report of the Legal, Constitutional and Parliamentary Affairs Committee. If Parliament accepts the report, then we will move to the consideration of the clause that is seeking to be amended. Once that is done, the next stage will be for the EC to come up with a new CI. So we'll wait a while and bring you live update as and when events progress on the floor of Parliament. From the chamber, Elton Brobe for Joy News.
Right, and here in the studio, my name is Kwabena Chenchene Boati. We'll be bringing you some more on that very development in Parliament. You did see parliamentary correspondent Elton Brobe in that shot there, and he's taking us through what the processes are expected to be today. And he gave us a background to this very issue and what is to be expected, how things are likely to play out. Well, for me, the bit I pick out has to do with the fact that voting is not necessarily going to be done today, but the discussions and the arguments are rather going to take place today. So we are still monitoring events there. As soon as the Speaker takes his seat, we'll be bringing you some more on happenings in Parliament. You're watching Joy. This is your Joy News channel here on the Multi TV. It's an extended coverage of News Desk, and we're bringing you some more on Parliament's amendment of the Constitution to enable Ghanaians exercise their franchise in November instead of December.